We here for a hot topic. It's always a hot topic, I bet, for you down through 50 years being in the dog training. And that's prey drive and defense drive. What do people get wrong about this, Hans?
Everything.
Yeah.
I've heard actually on your podcast, some guy, I'm not going to say no names, saying that the dog is not in prey drive unless the decoy has a suit on. I almost fell off the chair.
Welcome to NWA Connie Corsos podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
Welcome back, everybody. How you doing, Hans?
I'm okay. I'm still alive.
Yeah, likewise. One
still,
day,
still pissing people off, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, you know, it ain't very hard to do these days. Everybody's so sensitive right now, man. I don't know what's going on, man. I've been like,
well, you know, the truth is truth, and people don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear what they want to hear.
Right? Yeah. You do. They want it softened. Yeah, they want it cut a little bit.
I have a problem with that. You know, I always say things they are, and people say I'm too blunt. Well, maybe that's true.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm getting older. I get a little gentler. You should see me 30 years ago.
Right.
Right.
Well, you know, you sometimes, you know, you got to be. You know what I mean? I know. Sometimes I have to toughen up a little bit and
people don't pay attention when you are too nice, man.
Right. They'll run over you too. So, but anyway, we here for a hot topic. It's always a hot topic, I bet, for you down through 50 years being in the dog training. And that's prey drive and defense drive. What do people get wrong about this, Hans?
Everything.
Yeah.
I've heard actually on your podcast, some guy, I'm not going to say no names, saying that the dog is not in prey drive unless the decoy has a suit on. I almost fell off the chair.
Okay.
Probably know who it is.
I talk to a lot of people, but I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Please don't. Yeah.
I know you don't. You're not that.
You'll get me in trouble. Yeah.
People that's scared, you know, to come on your podcast. They said he will have that Hans over there, and he's gonna, you know. No, look, it's. You gotta look at nature, right? The prey drive and defense drive are not some kind of a terms which somebody pull out of their heel. You know, they just there's a prey drive and defense drive in nature, and they serve different purposes, and we need to understand that. When we train the dog, when I train dogs, I always make sure or trying to make sure as much as my experience and knowledge tells me that it's logical, it makes sense, it's done by nature, and not because somebody told me this is how you do it. I want to know why I've done it that way. Once you remember or know why is it done that way, then you don't have to remember anything else, right? I always say it's much more difficult to understand, to memorize phone book, you know, than just to understand how the logic of the training works and why it is that way. So when people train dogs, they should, I think, always understand why it is that way. We should not be saying, "Well, prey drive is this, prey drive is that, defense drive is this, defense drive is that." We need to understand what it is, and then we don't have to worry about, anything. So,
Right.
so in in nature, the prey drive, there's this great dog trainer up in Bob Eden. He explained it to me, and I hope I got it right from him. But it's very interesting. I just it's about a year ago, 2 years ago. He gave me his perspective on it, and basically, as I understand it, and I want to ask him to forgive me if I'm messing it up. The drive is not what we as a dog trainers call drive. Drive is it's a feeling the dog has based on some kind of external situation. So, for example, prey drive is caused by hunger. So the hunger is the drive.
Mm-hmm.
Hunger is a drive.
Drive, yeah.
Don't kill stuff, okay? Right, and kill it and eat it. That's hunger is doing it.
Right.
Now the trainers, they say the chasing and tracking and looking for track and order of the prey is a prey drive, but that's prey behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So the drive, the hunger, induces in the dog behavior.
Okay. So would it be safe to say that the drive is the motivation and the prey is the action?
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and the prey drive has many subsections. Venn diagrams, you have this circle and then you have a bunch of other circles around, like and all that.
Right.
So the in the Venn diagram, the prey drive has many subsections.
Mm-hmm.
Chasing reflex, retrieve drive, tracking, and tracking is then divided to more subsection. Tracking, trailing, air scenting. So the mother puppies killing something, rabbit, she'll eat it, and she will go to the den, and it's in her first part of her stomach where it gets pre-digested, the food.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's good if people get my how to feed the raw, I pre-soak the meat first for puppies in apple cider vinegar, just to digest it a little bit, okay? And then when she comes to the den, the puppy licks her on the muzzle and she'll regurgitate it, and the puppies eat that. That's why puppies like to eat puke and stuff, and people say, "Oh, that's gross," but that's basically part of the prey drive. Okay.
Right.
And then this is getting a little more complicated. The prey drive has its own defense drive, separate from actual defense drive I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. If you look at training like Jerry Bradshaw does, the channeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is it based on? It's based on defending the prey, right? So they put a sleeve between the dog and the helper or the decoy, and the decoy acts like he's going to steal the sleeve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dog then defending the sleeve, the prey, the booty, and turns aggressive towards the decoy or the bad guy.
Right.
And that is defense drive within the prey drive. Right? So the prey drive has many subsections,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them, besides the other defense I'm going to be talking about later, one of them includes defense drive, defense of the prey, of the dead rabbit. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, which is simulated by the sleeve.
Gotcha.
Right? So the dog is defending the sleeve as it would be defending of the rabbit. And you probably notice I use the word defending.
Mm-hmm.
So that's defense, which is part of the prey.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
All natural.
All natural. If it's not natural, I'm not interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ideologue. I go strictly by the nature and logic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's the prey drive. Now, I'm not necessarily advocate for people training dogs through channeling, meaning defending the sleeve. I used to do that too, but you go and you put a sleeve between you and the dog, and then you act like you want to steal it, and dog will act aggressively on the decoy. And eventually the dog will become aggressive on the person because he hears the command to be aggressive. Drsch, pass auf, fuss, packen, whatever German, whatever command they use, right? Get him in English, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the dog hears that command, he becomes aggressive on the person because I'm still talking prey drive now, right?
Right.
Because he wanna steal his booty, his rabbit, his sleeve,
Mm-hmm.
his burlap sack, whatever.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the dog then, when you are on the street like a person who needs protection from their dog, you give the dog a command to attack or apprehend in case of law enforcement. And the dog does it even so the sleeve is not there anymore. Because he is in binary fashion associating defending of the sleeve with the command. So eventually the sleeve doesn't even have to be there, and he hears the command and he says, hey, that guy want to steal my booty even so the booty is not there anymore.
Gotcha. Yeah. So
All right?
yeah.
All right?
Yeah. So what does it look like when you take
Well,
away?
I get to it. I know what you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you want to go by how you can tell the difference. I'll get to it. I first need to explain this so people understand what we are talking about,
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
So I go in, so never expect simple answer from me, man.
Yeah, I know. I know it.
So anyway, so that's your prey drive. That's how prey drive works. That's how prey training is. The problem with the, so you binarily have tied the command with defending of the sleeve or the rabbit or the booty or whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
And so it looks civil. The dog is attacking the person, right? But the problem with that is that it's all about the sleeve, all about the equipment on the ground, all about the rabbit, all about the booty, right? That's why the dog is attacking the person, even so none of those things are there. So the moment the thing is there, the prey object is there, the dog will lose interest or may lose interest or often does lose interest in attacking the bad guy and start playing with the suit or whatever, or the sleeve on the ground.
Mm.
Okay, there's a video on internet for many years now There was this guy, homeless guy, John Boyd in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay. And he was like homeless and all that. And somebody called cops on him, and the cops came and whatever. They tried to talk him down off the mountain for like 3 hours, and he wouldn't go. So they were going to send dog at him, right? I'm not going to analyze if it was legally correct or not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about dog training. So what they did, they would throw this, they used to call it flashbang grenade at him, and now they call it something else. I don't know. And then they send the dog, and dog ran at the guy, right? And he comes to the guy, and he's just about going to bite him. And in corner of his eye, he sees something, sort of like a light blue object, kind of like that wall behind you. And he says, "Oh, there it is." And he forgets about the guy and start trashing that. It's like a jacket.
Yeah.
Blue jacket. And he start trashing the jacket on the ground. And that's a result of this type of a training where you know, the channeling and all that, because remember, he was always trained to defend some kind of an object, prey object. And the prey object may have been blue sleeve or blue something. And that jacket reminded it on him. So he said, okay, well, here it is. Why should I attack him?
Yeah, right.
And the dog failed. The guy pulled up knife and they shot him and killed him right there on the wheel, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm using this example, how this type of a training will fail, you know, if you build on prey strictly. I'm not against prey. People say, oh, Hans is against prey. No, I'm against prey. What is prey used for? For providing food. That's it. To satisfy hunger, right?
Mm-hmm. Naturally, yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, so that we now covered the prey.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the defense. Defense drive is like the prey drive is tripped by hunger. The defense drive is tripped by self-preservation. Something want to hurt me, so I hurt it back so I can survive.
Mm-hmm.
I will defend myself. That's why it's called defense drive.
Mm-hmm.
The defense drive then has also a few aspects. We may offense, defense, active aggression, whatever. Not important, you know. People overanalyze it. Basically, when I train dog, I give him command to alert on a building. And when the dog hears the command and he perks up and alerts, from around that building comes decoy and challenges the dog negatively. Swings a stick, staring at him, dipping the head, stumping the foot. And the dog goes, woof, woof, woof. Why did he do that? Because his self-preservation inheritedly told him, if something comes at me, want to hurt me, if I want to hurt it back, hopefully it'll run away. We have the fight or flight thing, right? So, and when I train the dog, I make sure that there is no flight ever. I always make sure the only way you can solve this problem is fight. And there is no prey in it, in that first aspect of it. Then when the bad guy runs away, I chase after him. Now we have a prey, right? But who are we chasing? Are we chasing a rabbit, or are we chasing a bad guy who can turn around and come back at the dog? We are chasing the bad guy who may turn around and come back at the dog or at us, the canine team.
Right.
Okay? So the attitude is different in between prey and defense. In prey, it's food, hunger. In defense, self-preservation. You know, and you know, in sport, for example, that's another thing. I've done sport. People say, well, Hans doesn't like sport. That's not true. I've done sport. I have not much problem with sport. But in sport, the dog needs to get points, so he needs to look good in order to get point. In defense, the dog doesn't look very good. He's fighting, he's dodging, he's bobbing, he's weaving.
Mm-hmm.
In prey, the dog goes, and now we're talking about what you want me to say, and he flies through the air and hit like a freight train. Everybody sigh out and say, wow, that was cool. I want my dog to do that. But that dog is killing a rabbit or deer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is your dog in protection when somebody kick your door in at 2:00 at night, going to be hunting deer? No, he's going to be defending you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So in defense, the dog look different. Okay. In prey, the dog leaps in the air and generates this convex curve. Convex
Right.
is like this. Concave is like this. Convex,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah, you can jump in there like that. Yeah.
So they fly through the air and hit, and there's a reason for that. And that's one of the ways you can tell if the dog is in prey or in defense, right? So if he flies up and if he runs and leaps through the air and hits, the hit causes the prey, meaning the rabbit or the deer or the antelope, to stumble and fall down. It's supposed to knock it down. That's why the dog leaps, right? In defense drive, it's different. In defense drive, the dog knows I gotta be, and in prey drive, going back to that, the dog looks good because he's not worried. Okay, well, if I miss rabbit, I'm not gonna eat. That's the only worry he has. And because we feed the dogs, the dog don't even have that worry, right? But wolf would, right? So they look good. They look relaxed. They have fun. They fly through the air. They hit, and all that, and everybody clapping and cheering and yodeling.
Yo. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And dog gets a lot of points.
Right.
But in defense, the situation is different. Like if you go hunt ducks with shotgun, the ducks take off and you go boom, boom, and you shoot 2 ducks. Were you scared? Were you? No.
Mm-hmm.
You're not scared because you shot ducks. You were in prey drive, so you were not scared.
Right.
Same thing the dog. When he's hunting rabbit, he's not scared, right? Now, sometimes the prey, the deer or something, may fight back, okay? And the dog will be challenged, and there's a breaking point where the prey, the animal which is going to get killed for food, fight hard enough so for the dog, for the predator, it's not worth it. And he may flip him into defense drive and dog quits. I said, I may get injured. If I get injured, I cannot hunt for 2 weeks. I'll die. Forget it. That's not how they think, but that's the genetic experience of the dog, right? So if the prey, meaning the deer, let's say, fights hard enough and start flipping the dog into defense, dog will quit. Well, no, isn't it what the bad guy does to the dog? Now, some people, they get hit by a dog and they cry like a 12-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But there are guys who are tough and they'll fight the dog back. They'll kick the dog and punch it and whatever. And if the dog is not used, so they flip the dog into defense. So that's like the deer, where you flip the dog into defense. The dog is prone to run away.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So that's the shortcomings of the prey drive, right? Now when I go in defense, the defense drive is triggered by self-preservation, and the behavior is forward aggression or defensive aggression, whatever. The dog fights for the behavior is fighting for survival. And when I train the dog in defense, I make sure that the dog always wins, of course, and the dog never is allowed to choose flight, to run away. Because once you allow the dog to choose flight, the dog will go there when he gets stressed out. So in future it may happen again, right? But I teach the dog there's no flight. Forget it. There's
No
just
such thing. Yeah.
resist, okay?
Right.
The only way you can win defensive fight is that you fight harder and harder. And I do it through so-called escalation. So the bad guy escalate. So I tell the dog the only way you can win is not to run, but escalate over the bad guy. And so let's say it in reality it looks like the bad guy. I give the dog command, dog barks, bad guy comes from around the corner. He starts challenging the dog by certain agitation. Usually the agitation is back and forth. With prey, agitation is side by side. You see the decoy running left, right? That's a prey.
Mhm.
Okay. Where in defense, the decoy agitates, it goes straight at the dog. Hey,
Mhm.
and the dog. First, I can start with 12-week-old puppy,
Right.
okay, or younger even. And if the puppy goes woof woof, he escalated. He just escalated from 0 to woof woof, right? So the decoy goes, oh my god, and he runs away. And dog
Right.
says, wow.
Yeah. Then it's
It's
over.
cool, man. I kick ass, and I keep doing it. And the dog is just like thinking, well, every time I am aggressive, he'll run away. But then, and so when he hears the command, he become aggressive. So the bad guy goes away, right?
Mhm.
And but then next step is I tell the decoy, don't run away right away. Just go at the dog, and they'll go woof woof, and you don't run away. You just keep going, or maybe act a little scared, like it worked, but not enough.
Mhm.
And so I wait for the dog to escalate a little higher, right? So we go woof woof, and the decoy keeps coming, and the dog goes woof woof, right? And then the decoy run. He escalated, right?
Mhm.
So, and I keep doing it all the
Build 'em
way
up.
up,
Mhm.
building him up.
Mhm.
So the dog learns that the only way to win the fight is to escalate. Okay? Not to run away, to fight. He needs to fight, not to run, not to flight.
Right.
Now, the dog in that situation realizes this is a bad thing. So I can die or I can get hurt. So the dog goes low to the ground, right? So you have a decoy here, and dog comes at it, and he travels on concave curve, right? So the prey was convex, knock it down, and the defense was on concave. I'm safe because the dog is safer when he's lower, right? And plus the bad guy cannot, what is the word, escape or whatever, the motion, right? So if the dog flies at me like this, I can step aside, and as the dog flies, I
Right.
can stab him, right?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Or hit him, right? But the dog really quickly learns in defense to come like this and then up and bite here, right? So he's pretty safe, bite.
Yeah.
See, so they travel on concave. Concave, there's a cave right here.
Right.
Cave curve,
Mm.
like a hyperbolic curve, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Sir.
So then when I look at the dog and I see how he travels, like, during the attack, I can tell if the attack is in prey or in defense just by the shape of the curve he follows. Like the Russian Kavkazskaya ovcharka dogs, they're mainly defensive dogs. They're formidable, badass dogs. And I had a really good video I've seen. If I find it, I'll send it to you so you can plug it in here.
Okay.
The Kavkazskaya ovcharka goes 150 feet and just go low to the ground and boom and come up. It's just textbook.
Yeah.
Right. So is that answering your question? What's the difference between prey and defense?
That was an excellent breakdown. But I do got a question.
Sure.
Because you covered this before, and I was listening in to some of your stuff, and you explained that defense is reactive. It's a reactive state that involves stress, and you said prey is proactive and stress-free. You explained that earlier too. How do you read the emotion? Because sometimes a dog may ears be back, and I know it's got to be an art to read dogs, but what are some of the telltale signs on reading dogs in the state of defense and prey?
Every dog is a little different, right? So you gotta if I look at strange dog which is not mine, I mainly look at those curves, which way he travels. Is he going down? If he's going up? In defense, the ears are usually back. It's interesting when you send the dog on prey attack, or when they run, the ears are back, right? But just before he hits, the ears go like this. Take a note of it sometimes in German Shepherd.
Okay.
Dog with floppy ears, you cannot see it, but with also the level of the bark, right? So,
right.
So if I'm having dog in a defense drive, he barks different than in prey drive. A really scared dog will go in high pitch, right? Oh, yep. And the dog which want to fight and he want to escalate, you start working the dog, right? First session, let's say, and you coming at the young dog and try to trigger him into protecting, into defense. He will bark. He at first will see, well, this is funny, wuff, right? But then I come at him, I produce stick and I swing it in the air, and it's really more scary. And the dog goes from wuff to right? He trying to make himself look bigger, his deeper voice. He puff up a little bit, chest. Some dogs their hair will stand back on their back. Now, hair standing on the back is not necessarily defense. It means excitement. I've seen dog in prey also hair standing back. So you gotta know each individual dog. It's not. And you know what? I think people put too much emphasis on trying to figure out what drive the dog is in. Personally, you gotta decide how you want to train the dog. So if I'm challenging the dog negatively, and I'm advancing the dog straight, I'm definitely tripping him into defense, right? And if I'm going sideways, like I said, left, right, waving, burlap sack or something, that's prey. And dog gets excited. And there's no in prey, there is no sign of stress because there is no stress.
Right.
So, and people keep asking me about it. I said, look, just train the dog the way you want to train it, and you solicit certain behavior which will express itself somehow. And if you're pushing the dog in defense, it's going to be defense.
Right.
It's not going to be prey. Now, sometimes what happens when I import dogs and they're trained in prey, and I'm coming at the dog in defense because that's what I do, the dog starts with spray because they say, oh, I know this. This is spray. We got to play for sleeve over here. And so I come at the dog and I'm coming at him in defense. I'm challenging him negatively. You can see this, oops.
I ain't seen this before. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And so the dog is, kind of surprised, and
Right.
and then again we go to escalation,
Right.
So finally the dog figures it out and goes, woo, 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 and decoy runs, right?
Hmm.
So
I think that was an excellent breakdown. Now, to get more stuff like this, now we know you got the course and all that. How do people join? First off, you got the podcast.
yeah,
You can tell them about that, and then I want you to tell them about the courses you have.
well, I have the most popular one is the obedience, right, Gabor? Which is out of drive obedience.
Auto drive obeying. Okay.
Out of drive, because in sport we do in drive.
Mm-hmm.
In drive meaning treats and toys, right? And dog works for itself,
Yeah.
for toys and treats. Where I do out of drive, the dog works for me and with me, like a team, like a pack of two,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm the leader, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's the obedience establishes. My obedience establishes or helps establish a leadership position, which again, going back to the nature, I believe is the most important part of the dog training.
Mm-hmm.
You have to build everything on leadership position. Either you are the leader or dog is the leader, and the obedience teaches the dog that I'm the leader. Where the out of drive obedience, the in drive obedience teaches the dog, if I put my ass on the ground, I get cookie.
Yeah.
If I hear that command, right?
Right.
And that's has nothing to do with leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
You can get more accuracy with the in drive obedience and that's why it's used in sport a lot, because you get more precise positioning of the dog and stuff, because you're just not going to give the dog that cookie until he says just right.
Mm-hmm.
And the dog wanted cookie really bad, so he sits and everybody says, yeah, that's great training. Where my obedience is, I'm more interested in reliability. The dog chases deer and I say come. Now if I train with cookie, is he coming? No. If I train him, I'm in leadership position. Is he coming? Most likely, not necessarily, but most likely he is.
Right.
There's a best chance.
Yeah.
There's a best
Yeah.
chance that he's going to come if I'm training out of drive.
So Hans, you never put any kind of treats or anything in your training ever?
No, I don't. Well, I don't. I don't use food for motivation, for
Okay.
obedience commands.
Gotcha.
However, I use sharing, which
Okay.
is different. Sharing is, I'm eating and dog is sitting right there and watching me. People, oh, I ate him when he begs. It's okay. He sits there and wait until I'm done. Like again, in nature, the leader boss, the leader dog will eat first. And
Right.
then when he's done eating, he allows to share whatever is left with his dog, with the subdominant dog to him. And there you again establishing leadership position or reinforcing it. So I do use food, but not as a reward for sit down, stay calm, heel, and so on the commands. I use is just, I go camping with the dogs and I eat some meat. And then when I'm done, I just give them, and they all look at me, right?
Still natural. You never leave naturals, yeah. I know that about you. You never leave.
I remember a long time ago, there's a mountain range called Sierra Ancha here in Arizona. I've been there camping.
Mhm.
It was my early days. I was much more crazy than I am now, if you can imagine. I don't know. And I had a pickup truck, right? And I had the dog in back of the pickup truck. They were trained to stay in the pickup truck, right? People say, oh, they can fall down. Well, they can, but they wouldn't because they were trained not to. So I'm going on this freeway. I have 5 dogs on one side and 5 dogs on the other side, people looking at me. And I go to Sierra Ancha. I'm camping there. I had much longer hair, much bigger beard. I look like a wild mountain man. And I'm built fire and I'm sharing food with my dogs. And we are done and I start howling. Oh, right. And all the dogs perked up and they all start howling. So now you have these 10 dogs howling and me howling. And I see some hikers walking by. They're looking at me. They speed up. They say, oh, I'm out of here. Look at that guy.
Yeah, they got yeah. If it had been the wrong people, you might have to go to the hospital. You might have got locked up.
Yeah.
I got so I'm gonna let you tell about your website and different things first, but Doug, shout out Doug, the co-producer. He's in here listening, but he wanted me to ask you one more thing before you got out of here.
Sure.
He says, with your training methods of using the defensive drives, is it acceptable to use the flirt pole, rag work, or using the wedge in the early developmental stages in puppies under 6 months old?
Not for protection. Now, I use flirt pole.
Okay.
I do, but for other reasons. See, every training has different purpose, a different foundation in nature. Like in search and rescue, it's the sheep herding dog was looking for lost sheep, or the wolf is hunting for something, right? And that involves prey drive, because looking for something, even in friendly way, like in search and rescue, I'm using prey drive or detection, narcotics, explosives, right? Whatever detection, cadaver, that's prey drive. For that, I need the dog to have an active prey drive. By active, I mean the dog will, a lot of dogs have prey drive, right? And prey drive is inherited, but what it is used for is learned. So let's say I can throw the dog tennis ball, and you've seen dog just look at it, and he won't do anything, right? And then I see a dog, the same dog, see a rabbit, and he chases the rabbit. So he has a prey drive. He's just using it on the wrong things, which I don't need, right?
Right.
Well, in order for me to use a prey drive in hey, get out of here. This dog, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Prey drive for different kinds of training than protection, I need to wake up that prey drive in it. So on flirt pole, I will use white cotton sock, or I can put the tennis ball in that cotton sock and moving it around and start saying to the dog, not attack command, but search command. So I search instead of attack, whatever the command would that be, right? So I'm awakening the prey drive for that particular object. Okay.
Gotcha.
For future training, which is not protection, because I don't use that for protection, right? The let's say in search and rescue, I was involved a lot in, right? What do you think search and rescue dogs do?
Sir,
They look for people with sticks or tennis balls or toys.
Right.
That's what they do. That's it. Right there now, you know how what's how to train search and rescue. So what I do, I say search, and the dog runs to person 15, 20 feet from me. And when he runs towards it, he throws my ball. But he needs to be willing to chase that ball, and that's what I do when I use what's your producer asked me,
Right.
the flirt pole or whatever.
Yeah. The way.
And then I start putting the victim further and further away and hiding him, so the dog look through hell or high water to find him, so he can get the stick being chucked for him. But I need to teach the dog to look for the stick, to work for the stick. I gotta wake it up in him for that particular object. Remember, prey drive is inherited, but what is it used on by the dog is learned. So by using flirt pole or rolling a tennis ball in front of the puppy, I'm teaching him to target the object on the flirt pole or the tennis ball or whatever toy, on command search.
Gotcha.
But I don't say dersh, which would be attack command. For dersh, I'm using defense.
Gotcha. Okay, makes a lot of sense.
So before we start training, we got to think about what are we going to be training for? So let's say law enforcement. Law enforcement is different than protection. Law enforcement is apprehension, most of it. The bad guy runs away, cop goes open the door, points him at the running away bad guy or put him on this track and say attack command or apprehension command, right? And dog then runs and chases the bad guy in prey, right? And then when he gets him, he hits him and bites him. But who is he biting? Is he biting rabbit or is he biting bad guy? And I'm teaching the dog from lesson number 1 that he's chasing a bad guy who can hurt him, hit him. So it's a defensive dog in prey drive.
Gotcha. Right.
Okay. Same way as we had a defensive dog in when the dog is defending his rabbit, he's also
The sleeve. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say by this is the defense and prey almost never stands on its own. They always go together a little bit.
It does. Yeah. It really does, because even thinking it from a novice view, if you look at a dog and say it's in a fight, you would think like a boxer who's using offense and defense at the same time.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So the prey drive and defense drive are intertwined. Okay.
Yeah.
So in my style of training, when I'm chasing after, so the bad guy challenges me and the dog. Dog goes into defense. He barks, he escalates. The bad guy start running away, and I chasing after the bad guy, and prey drive feels good. So it's a reward to the dog. Plus, it helps me to catch the bad guy who's running away. So there's prey defense, you see?
Yeah.
Defense prey. And I keep going back and forth as the bad guy is running away or the decoy is running away. I always tell, come back at the dog. So he stops and come back at the dog who was chasing him. And he puts more pressure on him, and then he runs away. I forgot one thing I want to say.
Okay.
I need this here with my hands.
Yeah.
How you can tell if it's prey or defense. also one of the ways you asked me, right?
Mhm.
The it's the vectors.
Vectors. Okay.
Didn't we talk about it in the previous podcast? I think we may.
Yeah, you did on your podcast. Yeah.
Right. So in prey, the vectors of motion of the prey and the dog in prey, did I say defense? In prey are heading the same way. That's a prey. This is a defense. If somebody challenges the dog and he fights back, that's defense. So you can tell by the vectors if you are in prey or in defense. So I can come at the dog and I challenge the dog and I'm in defense, dog barks, I run away and I'm in prey. Okay?
Right. Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, back to you explained your out of obedience course.
Out of drive.
Out of drive, of course.
Well, then I have the defense, the protection
The
videos,
protection.
which is 4 videos.
Okay.
And there's all this is explained there from nothing. So you don't need to know nothing,
Right from the beginning.
And you can train a protection dog. And you follow the instructions. First session you do this, you make a video of it, you send me the video on Facebook Messenger or email or whatever, WhatsApp.
Mhm.
And I look at it and I say, okay, you're doing this right, you're doing this wrong, you need to do this better, and next thing you do this. In other words, it's like as if I would be right there with you.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
I train dogs for people all over the world. I have
Yeah.
clients right now in Italy, Spain, Australia. So anybody, if they purchase this video series, get also with it the service of me coaching them.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'm gonna pull that up just so they can see it, so they know what it is. But yeah, Hans, I appreciate it once again. I had already knew when this subject comes up so much.
Come here, Gabor. Come here.
Yeah. I'll jump in.
This is Gabor. He can explain to you better.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
About the membership.
Yeah, the membership is basically that's where you get feedback from Hans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The membership.
Yeah, the membership. And
Okay.
it's closed right now. We open it up, I don't know, a few times a year, 2-3 times a year. And so you have to get on the notification list.
Yeah, the page you just pop up is alpinec9real.com.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's where people can upload their issues they're having with.
Oh, and that's the wait list you're talking about right there. Join the wait list.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you're having membership, you don't owe the video as if you buy it outright, but you can communicate with me, and a lot of people do asking me a question about their obedience.
Yeah.
And I actually broaden it up into that they can also ask me question about
For
protection.
$29 a month right now, that's
Shoot, that's $29 a month.
I know.
Okay. I see old Dan in there. I see old Dan in there. Yeah. Okay. Look at all this stuff, guys. All right. Well, once again, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all, and everybody, please go check out their podcast. It's a very good one. I mean,
Yeah, they can tap into the podcast through that alpinec9real.com.
okay, cool.
There's the YouTube little symbol, that little rectangle with a little triangle in it.
Okay.
It's right on
Yeah,
right
here
up
it
the
is.
corner, right?
Yep. I just
Yeah.
hit the podcast.
Or you
Yeah,
can go to the podcast there. Yeah,
there you go. All right.
I think
Well,
there's
once
150 or 170 of them there now.
yeah, of some really good stuff. Okay, well, Hans, I appreciate you once again, brother.
Hey, same here.
All right, y'all go check him out. We out.
Step into the realm of canine wisdom with our podcast, NWA Corsos, where we interview dog men and women from around the globe. Discover their talents and insights on breeding, training, nutrition, and the rich history of dogs. Tune in to the most underrated yet influential dog podcast on social media. Your journey into the dog world starts here.